In the frozen Arctic, two giants of the ice stand as symbols of raw power. The mighty polar bear, the largest land carnivore on Earth, and the formidable walrus, a massive marine mammal armed with towering tusks and thick blubber. These two animals rarely fight unless desperate conditions force them into confrontation. But if they did clash, who would win? Let's begin with the polar bear. Adult male polar bears can weigh between 900 and 1,500 pounds, with some exceptional bears reaching over 1,700 pounds. They stand more than 10 feet tall on their hind legs and have paws nearly the size of dinner plates. Everything about a polar bear is engineered for survival in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Thick insulating fat, powerful limbs, sharp claws, and a bite force of nearly 1,200 psi. Polar bears are skilled hunters, relying on strength, patience, and stealth. They stalk seals, crush ice, and swim long distances. Their endurance is unmatched in the Arctic, and unlike many predators, they hunt alone, using raw muscle and strategy to survive. Now let's look at the walrus. A bull walrus is enormous, often weighing between 2,000 and 3,700 pounds, making it far heavier than even the largest polar bears. Walruses are armored with layers of thick skin and astonishing amounts of blubber, sometimes over 6 inches thick. Their most iconic weapons are their tusks, which can reach lengths of 3 feet and are used for defense, dominance battles, and breaking through ice. Walruses are social animals. They travel in large groups and rely on the safety of the herd, but a large male walrus alone is still incredibly dangerous. Their sheer size and weight make them difficult for most predators to challenge. Now imagine the confrontation. A hungry polar bear spots a lone walrus resting near the edge of the ice. The bear approaches cautiously. It knows this fight is dangerous. The walrus lifts its head, exposing massive tusks. Both animals understand the high stakes. If the bear attacks from the front, the walrus has a huge advantage. A single thrust from those tusks can gore a polar bear severely, even fatally. Polar bears have been killed in these encounters, especially younger or inexperienced bears. But polar bears rarely attack a walrus head-on. They look for an angle. They try to target the back or rear flippers, where the walrus cannot defend itself as easily. The bear charges, swiping with its claws, but the walrus, though slow on land, is incredibly difficult to injure. Its blubber absorbs much of the impact, and the walrus responds with deep, bellowing roars and violent tusk swings. If the walrus can drag itself into the water, everything changes. In water, the walrus becomes fast, agile, and nearly untouchable. In contrast, the polar bear becomes slower and vulnerable. In the ocean, the walrus wins easily. But on land, the battle becomes more complicated. The bear attempts to get behind the walrus, aiming to bite the thick hide near the neck. It may latch on and try to cause damage, but the walrus weighs up to twice as much as the bear. It can roll, crush, or swing its tusks backward, forcing the bear to retreat. Even if the bear manages to wound the walrus, the enormous size and protective blubber make it incredibly hard to kill quickly. Meanwhile, a single solid tusk strike could end the fight instantly for the polar bear. Real-life encounters show this clearly. Polar bears sometimes prey on young or injured walruses, but adult bulls are often too much for even the strongest bears. Polar bears have been found dead near walrus herds, skewered by tusks. So who actually wins this matchup? If the polar bear can isolate a smaller walrus or strike from behind, it has a chance. Polar bears are intelligent hunters and would never rush blindly into danger. However, in a true one-on-one fight between a healthy adult male walrus and a healthy adult male polar bear, the walrus has the advantage. The walrus is simply too massive, too well protected, and too well armed with giant tusks. The polar bear is powerful, but the walrus is built like a tank. So the final verdict, winner, the walrus, in most realistic encounters. Its size, tusks, and natural armor give it the edge, especially near the water. The polar bear wins only under specific conditions, like surprise attacks or when the walrus is isolated and already weak. Who do you think wins? Comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to the Kingdom of Animals for more wild animal battles.